Vintage Hess Toy Truck newspaper advertisements. Okay, the very first earliest advertisement I've ever found comes from the Central New Jersey Home News from December 3rd, 1964. And out of all the 1964 newspaper ads that I found, I've counted at least 73 participating stations. You can get your scale model Hess transport truck for only $1.39. This ad comes from the Troy Record newspaper from December 3rd, 1965. You'll also notice that there's the Olixir stations in there. And also, too, you may notice that the wording up top says a great Christmas toy, right? T-O-I, and great is spelled really weird. Basically, that is from the Pittman Initial Teaching Alphabet Phonetic Shorthand for Children. This one comes from 1966. From the Times News, November 30th, 1966. A couple things. First, this is the only copy that I've ever found that has the Hess logo in a different font. Also above, if you notice, for toy truck, only the T is colored in solid black. So very weird. Again, this one is from 1966. So yes, there were plenty of B-Max left over. One more from 1966. This one is from the Fort Lauderdale News, December 1st, 1966. This one, as you can see, also includes Billups stations, which again, Hess bought out. Now, I bet these trucks sold in 66, especially at these stations, were the Hess over Billups variant that is highly sought after. So here's the first, or at least one of the first ads that I've found for the Hess Voyager, the toy tanker. This one is from the Central New Jersey Home News, December 8th, 1966. Again, 1966. So interesting to notice that all those lower priced B-Max were running just a week before this Voyager ad. That has to do with Voyager, unfortunately, at the time being a complete and utter failure. Moving on, here's a little bonus. This is a direct scan of the 1966 Hess Holiday Station promotional book. So this is the book that was handed to station managers to show them how to properly display, the toys and the signage. It's an interesting picture. You can get a little glimpse of the background of the soda and cigarette machine. That was basically part of every station. All right, moving on now to 1967, okay? This one is from the Central New Jersey Home News from December 7th, 1967. There are quite a few of these, but this one it took me a long time to get this really, really great high quality scan. Now, here's a side bonus. This is from June 20th, 1968. So it appears that there were a lot of Voyagers still left over 2 years later. So just like in 1964, 65, and 66, there were extra B-Max, well, there were extra Voyagers in 66, 67, and in 1968, they were giving them away as basically as a giveaway for buying enough gasoline and station openings and all that. 1968. This is from the Asbury Park Press, December 12th, 1968. What's interesting is this is literally the only 1968 ad I could find, and in absolutely only one newspaper only. So obviously it's New Jersey, it's the Asbury Park Press. I'm not sure what it is about 1968. Maybe it's a fluke, maybe there's a reason. This one looks different from all the other advertisements because it looks like as is, it's more of a personalized thank you to stations. So 1968 was also the first year that they started talking about the Hess toy truck in the annual report as well for Hess. So maybe this is for the people that, I don't know, helped get it underway, helped push it along the first couple of years. Here's a wonderful scan from 1969. This is from the Orlando Sentinel from December 11th, 1969. So here is your authentic scale model made by Marks, and it's got all the details. And it's interesting because in this ad, it says packaged in holiday gift box. That's not the red velvet from 67. And the 69 was the same as the 68. So I'm not exactly sure what's that about. Moving on to the 70s. Here we go. Very high quality scan of the Orlando Sentinel newspaper, from December 3rd, 1970, okay? Giving a nice list of stations. Now, there was a lot of promotion in 1970. Here is one from 1971, okay? Now, a couple of things. This is from the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle newspaper in color from December 9th, 1971. Now, what's interesting is only the main toy fire truck font is different from all of the many other 1971 ads. This one is unique in a few ways. Here's another one from 1971, okay? This one is from the Public Opinion, December 9th, 1971. This is the only variant 1971 ad that I found with its use of the Hess logo in the background. All the others, have the name behind it. This one has the Hess logo, almost part of the picture, or the fire truck is extending out of the logo, if you will. Very nicely done. This is from the New York Times, 1971, and this is from the Sunday edition pull-out magazine section. So whereas, the paper itself was black and white, the pull-out section that they did on Sundays, because that paper was, 10 times the thickness of the regular daily paper, this one came out with, kind of like magazine-style pictures. This is the highest quality I could possibly find. Again, 1971, New York Times Sunday edition. This is from the Public Opinion, December 19th, 1974. There were fire trucks and tankers being sold in 1974. They were all leftovers. But here's what's really interesting about this ad. Only the 1974 ads say, at stations displaying the sign, whereas all other Hess stations say available at Hess stations everywhere, or all Hess stations, or all stations. Only the 1974, and again, this is probably because they were dealing with only leftovers. Not all Hess stations had trucks. These have the tankers and the fire pumpers. Why can I not find anything from 1972? If anyone here has a 1972 newspaper advertisement, I would be happier than a pig in poop if you could share that, and that would just kind of complete the collection. Now, 1973 is not a mystery because 1973, 1979, and 1981, there were no trucks released, basically typically having to do with the U.S. oil embargo crises and all that stuff. This is from the Miami News, December 19th, 1974. This is the only 1974 tanker ad I could find. It was interesting because it's printed in a horizontal truck as opposed to, vertical. The fonting is a little different. It's definitely different from everything else. Took up a full page of the newspaper, probably quite expensive at the time. That was it for 1974. Here we are, 1975, okay, that wonderful box trailer truck. Now, this particular scan is from the 1975 Hess Holiday Station promotional. However, this was the exact copy that was used in all the 1975 ads. I have a few of them. The quality wasn't there. I said, you know what? I have more or less the original. Let's scan it from there. So this is the 1975 beautiful, toy truck trailer. And moving on to 1976, here's another scan from the Hess Holiday Station promotional. Again, the exact copy was used in all the 1976 newspaper ads. Now, what's interesting is if you look at the barrels, they don't have labels on them. It doesn't even say it in the bullet points. It just says miniature oil drums. So I'm wondering if the labels were a last-minute addition or something that, they weren't sure if they were going to have. First, you're going to see the 1978 Hess Holiday Station promotional, one of two, and this was sent out to various New York newspapers to be printed on November 30th, 1978, and this was called the nighttime version. Now, we're going to show you the daytime version. Again, 1978 Hess Holiday Station promotional, two of two, various newspapers, this one to be printed December 7th, 1978. So basically a week later. So first, they showed you the nighttime version in November 30th, and then come December, they're showing you the daytime version. Haven't seen that before, haven't seen it since. Moving on to the 1980s. Let me tell you, this one, the training van. Every toy show I've done, every book signing, everything. This van is the absolute favorite of Hess Truck fans, non-Hess Truck fans, people that don't know what Hess Trucks are, does not matter. Everyone loves this van, this toy. So this scan is from the Fort Lauderdale News, December 17th, 1980. This is the first and only time I've ever gotten this beautiful, beautiful scan. This was a lot of work in progress, and look at it. It is just absolutely beautiful. Moving on to 1982, a good old-fashioned toy truck at a good old-fashioned price of $469, which will change. Here it is from the Asbury Park Press, December 16th, 1982, an ad for the Hess First truck, basically a replica of the truck from 1933 that Leon Hess first used. Now, what's interesting is Hess doesn't say it or won't admit it or for whatever reason, but that good old-fashioned toy truck at a good old-fashioned price just went up to $529. So what happened to $469? I don't know, inflation, but these were just leftovers. This one is from the Asbury Park Press from December 8th, 1983. And literally the only difference from 1982 is the price increase. And same newspaper as well. So that was a great side-by-side comparison. All right, here we are, 1984. And there's a little history with this year. First, this scan is from the Philadelphia Daily News, December 12th, 1984. So this was $4.99, which was actually a little bit less than the $5.29, which is one of those rare years that Hess truck prices actually go down. It makes sense. And again, this one is from the Philadelphia Daily News, December 12th, 1984. This is from the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle from December 19th, 1985. A week prior, this paper advertised the new truck as "they must have run out." This was the only part of New York that I could find to get the leftover 1984s. New Jersey received new 1985s only. Pennsylvania was mixed, with both Florida and South Carolina only receiving leftover 1984s. This is from the Morning Call newspaper, December 19th, 1985, and this only New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania received this truck. And as you can see, it is basically the 1982/83, but with a coin slot added, and the price was $3.99. Interesting factoid underneath the printed bottom will still say manufactured in 1980. Moving on to 1986, we have the Great Hess Toy Fire Truck. This one is from the Poughkeepsie Journal, December 4th, 1986. And some people consider this the last of the classic line, and you'll see why in a second. This is from the New Jersey Daily Journal, December 4th, 1987. For a lot of people, this ends the classic line. At first, everyone really liked the white design. It really updated and modernized the box trailer trucks from 75 and 76. But going forward, things kind of changed. So I officially call this the last of the vintage line or the classic line. So going forward, 1988 starts the modern era, and the very easy way to describe it is now the years of the release are on the license plates, which make it easier for collectors, and also, like I said, starts what we consider the modern line. This is from the New Jersey Daily Journal newspaper, December 1st, 1988. The new Hess fire truck. This is from the Post-Star New York newspaper, November 30th, 1989. Now available at Hess gasoline stations, only 2 to a customer, please. Okay, we've got an interesting one here for 1994. The first image you're going to see is from the Central New Jersey Home News from December 5th, 1994. And this is the only ad the only 1994 ad that I found is different from the rest. Now, this one, you're going to see some font differences. This is from the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle from December 13th, 1994, so basically about 2 weeks later. And this is the most common version of the ad that ran in most newspapers for 2 to 3 weeks. Also had a coupon redeemable for $1 off the purchase of Hess Premium 93 gasoline, basically valid everywhere except in New Jersey. And then the third is the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle from December 21st, 1974. Same newspaper, same ad as the last week, but now with the added going fast and a 1-800 number. This is from the Central New Jersey Home News, December 7th, 1995. And this one gives hours and a time to call, 1-800 Hess Oil. Back then you could actually order it through the phone as well. Here's one from the Citizen's Voice, dated December 5th, 1996. And what's interesting here is it's the first use of the website, and it says www.hesstoytruck.com, which is obviously still in use today and your primary source, well, besides me maybe, of getting your Hess Toy Truck info. I say that tongue-in-cheek, of course. All right, here is from the News Press, not a very original name, newspaper, November 28th, 1997. Now, what's kind of interesting here, besides calling 1-800 Hess Oil, you can go to the website, but why did they flip back to Hess.com and not HessToyTruck.com? Not sure. Very confused. And rounding up the 1990s is the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle, November 26th, 1999. Again, it's website Hess.com, not HessToyTruck.com. No explanation there. Moving forward a little bit, one of the few last newspapers that I found, and this is 2002 from the New Jersey newspaper, December 2012. And again, back to HessToyTruck.com, but you could still call the 1-800 Hess Oil number as well. One of my favorite retro modern classic trucks. And now we're going to jump ahead, and this is from the Philadelphia Daily News newspaper in color from October 13th, 2014. And this was the first online-only truck that you could order. Amazing truck, amazing picture, and interesting, this is kind of the last classic vintage style newspaper advertisement that I've ever seen, and I'll explain that in just one more minute. And ladies and gentlemen, finally, here we are. This is from the Record North Jersey newspaper, and this is from October 20th, 2015. Now, what's interesting here is from this point going forward, newspaper advertising techniques have changed. This quote-unquote ad is now part of a column's recommendation gift list. So going forward, it's all become part of things that now with social media, everything what we call sponsored content. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.